You know, one of the amazing things about God is that He does not just give us a command without giving us the ability to obey that command. Love is a command of God for Christians. But God does not command us or tell us to love. He goes further than that. He teaches us how to love. Love is a theme that we find throughout the letter 1 John. 1 John chapter 4, we find that love is sort of a test of whether or not we know God. But John goes much further. 1 John chapter 4, we find that God teaches his people how to love. The main scripture is 1 John 4, 7 through 16 this week. And truthfully, we need help. We need help in a lot of areas, but we need help to learn how to love others sacrificially, selflessly, and biblically. The big question we asked throughout this passage is this: how does God teach us to love? The Lord does not merely tell us to love, He teaches us to love. And the first thing we find from this passage is that God is love. Throughout John's writings, we learn that God is spirit, God is light, and now we see that God is love. There's two big themes that stick out in the first couple of verses. The first is that God is love. He is the source of love. Love does not define God. God is the one that defines love. And then we learn that if we know God, if we really know God, we will love others. The second big takeaway from this passage is that God's love is manifested. This word manifested means that God's love is on display to the world. And the powerful truth we learn in chapter 4 is that God has proven his love. God is love. But his love is made manifest to the world in the person of Jesus. His love is manifested in Jesus to the world. He is the one who makes the first move. But then the people of God will manifest his love to the world. And the last thing we learn in this passage, number 3, God's love abides in us. The latter portion of this passage introduces us to this beautiful truth that God's love will be intimately developed in us. It will be completed in us by the work of his Spirit living in us. The Spirit of God living in us will teach us to love others. First, let's remember that God is love. He is the source. Second, his love is manifested in Jesus, and then his love is manifested in us to the world around us. And lastly, his love abides in us. So let's draw near to him this week. You can check out the full message at connectbillings.com/watch.